Hey guys, this is John with Walkthrough Code. So this is going to be the first video in a multi-part series of VueJS where we're going to do an overview and to find out whether you like it or not. You'll find that there are a lot of similarities to both AngularJS and React, which I like both of those. And it also, like the new Angular, it actually has a phenomenal CLI that you can use that will let you have built-in testing. You can have, if you like Browserify, they have a simple version. They have an in-depth one that includes testing and, ESLint and various things like that. They also, if Webpack is your thing, I tend to prefer Webpack. It also has one that includes testing and linters and all this other fun stuff. That's more the component style that we'll get to later on down the road. But for this video, we're just going to start with the simple Vue.js instance inside of your index.html. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's use the Vue CLI 2 to get that. Make sure that you have Node, preferably 6 plus, and to do that you can go to nodejs.org and install that. That will also install npm, and with npm you want to say sudo npm install -g and then vue CLI. I already have this installed, but that's what you would use. If you're on Windows, you can omit the sudo. At any rate, so let's get started. To just start that simple one page, they actually have that built in, and you can use vue init simple. And if you put some project folder name, that will create a project folder for you. If you leave that out, it will ask you if you want to generate it in the project current directory. Our answer is going to be yes. And it'll just go ahead and download anything that it needs to, ask you the name, ask you the author, and then it'll just go ahead and generate that for you. So that's great. Let's go ahead and open our index.html, and we'll see that it just kind of threw together just something super simple. We have the script tag with the view attached. Then we just have a couple of things, and we see these little mustache things. Here we see some syntax. It's a little bit, you don't normally use, and we'll talk about that in a second. But let's just go ahead and spin it up real quick. We can use live server, but actually, we'll just open index.html, and then, so here we go. I'll resize this for you guys, and so this is what this page outputs. If we kind of go back and take a look at what's going on here, we can see that it has a bunch of this stuff here and some curly brackets. So let's talk about what's going on here. So if we go into the bottom script tag here, we see that there's a constructor happening here, and we're creating a new instance of Vue. And what's happening here is we have this el key, and it's binding itself to the selector with an ID of app. So if we go up here, we see that the div ID of app is what contains all of this syntax. So that's where it's tying this view thing to, and that's what allows it to have this mustache bracket binding to it. We also see that we have this data key, which is an object, and it has a series of URLs attached to it. And if we go here, we see welcome to the Vue.js app. We see that here, and we'll see where that's located. It's actually right here in this h1. So what it does essentially is it takes this key and it takes this value, and it says every time I have a value in this that has a double mustache and then has that data key in there, it takes it and it connects that value. It binds it to that value. And we also see here that we have this humanized URL, and that looks like a function. So let's go down here and see what happens. And we look and we see that we have this humanized URL thing, and it's a function that basically takes the URL and just makes a few changes to it. And then so what that does is it actually runs that function, and then it outputs that value between these mustache brackets, which is phenomenal. It's you'll see if you notice here, it looks a lot like Angular in just the syntax here. We also have this thing if you put we'll talk a little bit more about this. It's kind of a shortcut notation, but if you put a colon before some sort of attribute, the whatever string you put in here will become one of those binding things, and we totally see that, right? Because we have getter URL and we have get our URL, and it just takes this and it just replaces it with that. And so really, that's kind of a super high level overview of what of how Vue kind of does its stuff. There's so much more to it than that makes it, really, really useful. But the thing that's really awesome about Vue is it's super lightweight. It doesn't need a whole lot of, notice that we have this stuff we have a lot of these curly brackets and this colon and things like that, not because we need it, but because we have it. We don't have a lot of boilerplate code in here. This is all things that we added. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the high level overview. We'll start talking about more detail in the next video, but I just wanted to kind of show you, how this kind of works. So I think in the next video we'll talk a little bit about binding and the shortcuts for binding and kind of how that works. I really look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, totally leave them in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe so I can create more videos for you guys, and I look forward again to seeing you in the next video. Take care.